So today we're looking at two Balisongs that I just got in a trade for my collection. Both of these are counterfeits. These are fakes, phonies. They are not the real deal. They're trying to be represented as the real deal, but they're clearly not. So I wanted to do this video just to show them a little bit. Maybe it's educational. Maybe learn something from this. I do not have, this one's supposed to be representing a Benchmade model 42, and this one is supposed to be a Spydercos Spiderfly, and unfortunately I do not have the genuine versions of these knives to compare, but even though I don't have them to compare, I still want to talk about it a little bit here. Just maybe point out a couple things to help you guys in, finding these. Unfortunately, if you've never had like a real Benchmade model 42, or in this case a Spiderfly, it is really hard to tell. A lot of these fakes and these counterfeits, I mean, they're doing a really good job at faking stuff. And if you've never actually held the real deal, a lot of people wouldn't know the difference. They'd probably buy it, pay a lot of money for it, still enjoy it, but never truly know that actual quality that the real ones actually have. So first let's talk about the Benchmade. You can see the sheath here is not a genuine Benchmade sheath. This is a very common cheap Chinese sheath. It just happens to have a Benchmade logo on it. This is a representation of the newer style of Benchmade sheaths, although there were many different types of Benchmade sheaths. This is just one, representing more recent models. There was never this particular style. All right, so if you happen to get this exact sheath, it's not real. So in opening this, you can see here's the knife. And overall, it looks like, if you're looking at pictures, maybe you might not be able to tell, that this is actually fake. This is a spring latch version. All right, so pinch the handles together. First thing too is the latch is not, it's kind of weak. All right, it's not as strong as an actual Benchmade latch. I mean, it doesn't really stay in place. There's a little bit too much slop, and it's just weak. I mean, even if you really used a Benchmade a lot, that latch wouldn't be quite like this. It's also a little bit noisy, a little squeaky sometimes. All right, and in opening the knife, you can see the style here again is supposed to be replicating a Benchmade model 42 spring latch version. All right, you can see the 42 underneath the logo. Again, markings look pretty legit. This one's marked for 40C, although a lot of the spring latch versions were 154 cm. Benchmade USA. So I mean, again, just looks okay. It doesn't, to someone who's never had one before, maybe you looked at some pictures and you're thinking, yeah, this is fine. But once you get this in hand, and you could just see like these cutouts, all right? They're just sloppy, they're horrible. You would never see that on a genuine Benchmade, all right? Also, just in construction, you can see these sandwich style handles. That's not a genuine Benchmade. They would have channels. There'd be backs here, basically. This could be one piece of milled metal, all right? So there's a couple little hints here and there if you've had one before. But again, if you never had one, you might just pick this up and go, oh, yeah, the marking's right, and that's cool. And that's a real shame, because you'll never actually know the difference. So yeah, that was just one I wanted to show you real quick. I'm more interested because there's just a plethora of fake Benchmade model 42s and all Benchmade Balisong models. But what's a little bit more unique is this one. And this is supposed to be a Spydercos Spiderfly. And the first thing is the box. I have a genuine Spyderco box here just to compare. And the first thing you might notice, not necessarily the size, because Spyderco boxes do come in all different sizes, although I don't know any that are this like thin, and narrow. Doesn't mean they never made one. But what is extremely noticeable is the bug logo on top on the genuine Spyderco box will be like almost a foil. It's not real gold foil or anything, but it is metallic. Okay, it does have a shine or a sheen to it. This one is just brown. Okay, it's not even gold in the color, it's brown. Also, you can see the coloration in this swoop here. This stops, I don't know why, but they stopped this gray line. It literally doesn't exist. So you can see on the side, this ends up being black instead of gray. Another huge difference is the sticker. Spyderco boxes, the boxes, I mean, they're making thousands of them, but depending on the model, they're gonna put the sticker and the barcode for that particular model. This one is a box for a native, all right? This has no sticker. To the best of my knowledge, every single Spyderco box had a sticker on the end showing what it is. So when this is in a warehouse on a shelf, whether it's Spydercos shipping them out, or if it's a knife dealer, you know, in the back room of these warehouses, they have just shelves and shelves of knives, and they're all stacked up like this. All right, so you have to be able to see what model it is. And they'll pull off the shelf, maybe check the box, make sure the knife is, you know, the correct knife. But those are just some dead giveaways on the box style. All right, it's close. Without this one to compare, you might pick this up and go, yeah, that looks exactly like everyone else. You know, it's what I've always seen. That's a real box. But then, you know, the devil's in the details. That thing not being there, the line not being there, the logo being, like I said, more of a muddied brownish gold. I don't even think that's gold. It just looks brown to me. But anyway. And also, like, the end of the boxes are usually red. In this case, you can see, compared to the black. But, I mean, they do change the packaging over the years. So if you have an older model, it might be a little more confusing. So here's the knife itself. And again, you know, upon quick inspection, that looks like a spider fly, but it's not. Squeeze the handles together, you can see nothing happens. On a spider fly, there's a spring latch. Okay, so that's the first giveaway. There's no spring latch here. Now, these are used a little beat up, so it's not a great representation. If I had a brand new one, it might be a little bit better. Wire clip looks okay, looks normal. All right, so you flip this open. You can see markings. Whoops. It says Spyderco, right? So you have to believe that's a Spyderco. VG10. All right, so real quick for reference, I do have a genuine small fly, which I got in a trade a while ago. All right, you can see spring latch. That's what that's supposed to have. So I just wanted to show you two different examples of some counterfeit battle songs. It is very, very difficult for people new to the game trying to buy these older models, and they just have no reference. You know, a lot of the counterfeits look pretty good. And unless you do a lot of research and you have the opportunity to see pictures of genuine ones and maybe even handle them, it would be very hard to distinguish between, you know, what's real and what's not. So hopefully this is a little bit helpful. If you guys have, you know, the genuine Spring Latch 42 or a genuine Spyderco Spider Fly, and I missed something here, like maybe some different things I didn't notice, you can of course comment down below, let people know. But yeah, it's really hard to get into these older models with no experience. So just be careful out there. Do a lot of research. I'm telling you, the information's on the internet. You just have to work for it. It's not going to come to you. You have to look at old, you know, forum threads with old pictures. You have to watch old videos, and that's how you learn. You know, and you can go into a situation trying to buy one of these old bells with, you know, with a lot of education behind it. You can get a pretty good idea whether it's real or not. And that will definitely depend on how much you're willing to spend on one. But it's unfortunate because I know people, they're buying these exact knives, which probably cost $30 or $40 online somewhere, and they're giving someone $300, $400, $500 or more for these knives, thinking they're real. So anyway, educate yourselves and do your homework and be a good consumer. That's what it's all about. You try to learn as much as you possibly can before you spend your hard-earned money on stuff like this. But anyway, that is all. Write down below if you guys have a Spring Latch 42 or a Spider Fly. I'll give you a big thumbs up. I had both of these knives. I've had a couple different 42s. I had actually two different Spider Flies. I had an original, one of the first production models, and I think I also had a rainbow version at some point that came out with. But yeah, those are long gone. Again, big knife regrets just because they're so hard to find these days. So that is it. I will leave you with this. If there is a particular type of knife that you really like, hang on to it, because 5, 10, or 15 years from now, you might miss it. You know, you never know what's going to be available or how hard it's going to be to find these things. So if there is that one knife or two knives that you're just like, you know, I really love these knives, hang on to them. Don't sell them. Don't trade them. You know, it's hard because if you're like me, you like every knife. You know, so it's hard to pick which ones to keep and which ones to trade, especially if you're constantly trying to get new knives. You got to do that. You got to sell them and you got to trade them. But yeah, if there's something that's just real special to you or has like a real sentimental meaning, just hang on to it. That's it. Like I said, you never know if it's going to be available in the future. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys have an awesome day, and I'll see you soon. Take care.